You took the series, which is ultimately what you wanted and what you needed to do, especially this week.
Yeah, I mean, when Taylor Walls goes 4 for 5 in a game, we should be on cloud 9.
You are Locked On Rays, your daily Tampa Bay Rays podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome into Locked On Rays, your daily podcast covering everything Tampa Bay Rays, from game analysis to player interviews. We've got you covered with all the latest news and insights. My name is Kevin Weiss.
I'm Ulises Sambrano,
bringing you expert analysis and passionate discussions about our beloved Rays.
We're here to break down every play, every trade, and every milestone. In fact, this is our 7th season covering the Rays daily.
So go ahead, grab your favorite Rays gear, and settle in on today's episode. The Philadelphia Phillies are coming to town, coming to Tampa for a best-of-3 set. We'll preview how the Phillies are doing and how the Rays stack up. We also have some numbers and findings on why the Rays have had such a challenge offensively at Steinbrenner Field. And Ulises has a pretty fun stat that I don't want to reveal too much more about, just on how the Rays are doing this year compared to last year. But before we get into all that, I had made mention that we would get to some listener comments from the Yankees series, and briefly I will mention those. I just want to give a shout out to some of those individuals that were nice enough to respond on our inquiry.
By the way,
yes.
By the way, those comments are brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Download Game Time today. Hey, Kevin, what time is it?
Game time.
Yes, it had been a minute. All right, read me those comments, sir.
All right, first one from Jake Stokes. Again, this is responding to the Rays-Yankees series, where the Rays took Saturday and Sunday's game, winning the series against the Yankees at Yankee Stadium up in the Bronx. Jake Stokes says, great series win. Inconsistent offense makes the team simultaneously the hardest, yet one of the most exciting teams to watch. Could be the best or worst baseball you've ever seen. Flip the coin and try to enjoy the ride. Bray says, if we could just figure out how to hit left-handed pitching, we could be a playoff team. 702 Living, but always with the 813 says, we still have no clue how to hit with runners in scoring position or even make contact for a productive out. It seems we have no plans at the plate. It's from rookies to vets. Josh Freeman Goat says, Wall's first time getting on base 5 times in his career. How about that? Scott says, great series win. And then Jimmy Vegas 337 says, Rays play better on the road, which is where they will be come hurricane season. Yeah, I don't have the exact numbers in front of me, but it's like, I'm just throwing it out there, like 53 of their last 68 are on the road. Some crazy number where like 70 to 80% of their final third of the season is outside of the Tampa Bay area. So any comments that you wanted to react to or stuck out to you one way or the other on that?
I don't know, man. I think when you beat the Yankees in a 3-game series, and hey, I know 727 and the 813 that person, I know they're a Locked On Rays listener, so yeah. We'll give them a bump for that, but man, the negativity there. Come on, you just took 2 out of 3.
I think that individual is talking about, instead of 7 runs on Sunday, it should have been like 11 or 12, just based on the run and scoring position opportunities. But
I get it, but
did enough to put up the W there.
Would it have changed your mood if they won 20, 15 to 5, 10 to 5 to 7 to 5? Honestly, I think I've said this before, and I think we've agreed on it. A 20-2 game is fun, but it's not as fun as a 7-5 game.
Right.
I'll take a 7-5 nail biter. That gives you more fun baseball nerd watching emotions than the 20-2. The 20-2
and it should have gotten
like,
to that point, honestly, because it was a 5-0 game, then a 7-2
Yeah.
game, and then very quickly it became a 7-5 game. So it was no guarantee that the Rays were going to pull out of that scotch-free. Luckily, they did. I think Mason Englert had his welcome to the big league moment facing the Yankees, which you're going to have to get used to that at some point. But I can't really complain too much when you put together 16 hits and 5 walks. Runs are going to come by. Yeah, you wish.
And you took the series. You
Yeah.
took the series, which is ultimately what you wanted and what you needed to do, especially this week.
Yeah, I mean, when Taylor Walls goes 4 for 5 in a game, we should be on cloud 9 for all that. Just wanted to put that out there. All right, we do have a lot more to discuss, but first, Ulises, we do have to tell the audience something very important.
Ever check your bank account and wonder, where did all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, entertainment, it's easy to lose track. And that's where Monarch Money comes in, your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. It takes less than 5 minutes to get started, and it's a complete look at your financial well-being. It manages your money. You can start building wealth. It's fantastic. It gives you everything. It's not just a budgeting app. And today, you can get started and take control of your finances with Monarch Money using code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's right. Using code LOCKEDONMLB gets you 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com. Again, monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONMLB for half off your first year.
All right, so the Rays are back at home. We will talk about the Phillies a little bit more in depth, but I just want to note some numbers and facts and figures on the Rays' struggles and sometimes ineptitude at Steinbrenner Field. This was put to light by Mark Topkin, who put a pretty nice article together on the various findings, which, by the way, we did go to the game last Wednesday against the Royals, where the Rays got no hit for 6+ innings by a rookie left-handed pitcher. And because the Rays scored just 3 runs in the entire series versus the lowly or mid or average Orioles, people that went to those got free tickets, which is amazing. Free tickets and free parking. So now the big question is, which series or which game do we go to? Maybe hit it in the comments. Should we go to the Philly series? Should we go to the Houston series? Or should we go to the Twins series? So we have multiple opportunities to take advantage of 4 free tickets plus a free parking pass, which to me, Major League Baseball, that's unheard of. I mean, this is like single A baseball type promotion deal. So just golf clap to the Rays for acknowledging the suckage that was that series and led to that promotion and offer, which I was pretty shocked and aghast by in a good way.
I mean, yes, I think it was rather timely, because I think it was more of the parking situation with what's the guy's name? Jelly Bean?
Yeah, the concert, the country concert. I don't have the exact name of it, but Jelly Roll and some other cast of characters that led to some difficulties. Which, again, if you have connections with somebody who lives in that area, you can just park there and Uber over to the game. But not everybody has that luxury. They're driving from Lakeland, they're driving from St. Pete, they're driving from Wesley Chapel, and parking was, from what I understand, a bit of a message.
Are you blowing up our technique for the Steinbrenner Field situation? My gosh.
No, I mean, it's a technique that we're not the only ones that use. Other people use it as well. It's just,
it's so nice.
Openers, some people use platoons and
shout out to our buddy Ant.
Yes.
This is for you. Thank you. You're awesome. Thank you for buying that house. We appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. But not thank you to the Rays and their performance at Steinbrenner Field. So through 22 games at home, quote unquote, they are 9-13. They have been shut out 4 times at home and held to 1 or 2 runs in 7 others. That means they've scored fewer than 3 in half of their home games, with another 6-game homestand, of course, set to start today. Some quotes that I want to point out. Brandon Lau says, "It's not an easy place to hit by any means." And then Yandy says, "We've been hitting the ball hard and we haven't been getting those hits." What's interesting is that this is such a dichotomy or opposite of what we are hearing all offseason of let's go nuts, get ready to see the runs scored per game just elevate and increase exponentially because they're playing at quote unquote a hitter's friendly ballpark. And of course, that has not been the case for the Rays. And people are citing the lights, they're citing smaller outfield space, and probably the common denominator is the wind and how it blows and changes direction and intensity during games. And because there's not a bunch of huge structures like upper decks and buildings, that is making the wind even more vociferous and creating a challenge for Rays hitters, evidently. And now coaches and front office folks believe that the Rays are maybe starting to tinker too much or change their approach or get too much into their head, because balls that they think should be hits or home runs are not that. So they're having to change course. So it's kind of a perfect storm of awkwardness, so to speak.
And that's exactly what you want to avoid, the changing of what works for you, because now once you lose it, you lose it. And now you would have to regain it. And we talked about this phenomenon that could happen, but we never talked about it with the hitters. We always talked about it with the pitchers. And we kept saying in the offseason, hey, we got to really hope that these pitchers they're on the mound and they give up a homer, they give up 2, they give up 3. They don't lose it with saying, it's this damn ballpark and it's all that. Like, just stay within your process and hopefully things can work out. We never saw it from the hitter's perspective, and boy, are we seeing it. That's exactly what's happening. Maybe these guys are saying, well, if what I'm doing is not working, if my hits are not falling in, especially that, not only the wind, because obviously we all know without a triple deck, the wind just goes everywhere it wants, and from left to right, from right to left, and it can influence a batted ball wherever it wants. But the lack of surface area in the outfield, that is an issue. And things sometimes might drop in at a major league stadium that it's not falling in there. But you just got to hope that with time, things can regress to the mean.
Right.
And maybe hopefully right now we're seeing the worst of it. And once there's more humidity, there's more heat, that ball is going to travel way faster and way farther than it does right now. And hopefully that'll mean more Rays power, more Rays home runs, and giving the positive aptitude of Rays pitching, maybe curb that from the other side.
But my question is, why are teams that are coming in not having as much trouble as the Rays? I would think it would be
just luck.
Okay, if the Rays aren't scoring runs, then the other team isn't scoring runs. And maybe they aren't scoring as much runs at Steinbrenner as they are at other road ballparks. But I mean, we've seen some evidence of other teams putting up numbers against the Rays at Steinbrenner Field. So I think it's maybe a little bit of a cop-out, but they're going to have to – something's going to have to change, and you hope that it happens sooner than later. The Rays say they can cite at least a half dozen balls they thought were homers based on the look and data, exit velo and launch angle included, that ended up being caught. Others they figured to be extra base hits have been singles. So yeah, I think a lot of it is just a mental psychological thing of like, hey, I made good contact and it's not dropping. Like, what am I going to have to do to catch a break here? So, yeah, it'll be interesting to monitor and see if it changes. I will say this, that if there is a team that could really leverage Steinbrenner Field to their advantage, it could be the team that is coming in to face them this week, i.e. the Philadelphia Phillies. So
indeed, and we're going to talk about them next. Before that, though, Kev, I think we need to talk about something very important.
Yes, we do.
There's nothing better than catching an MLB game live. The crack of the bat, the roar of the crowd, and the smell of Yankee tears. And if you're looking to go last minute, Game Time makes getting tickets easier than ever. They've got last minute deals, all-in pricing, and a lowest price guarantee. They take the stress out of buying MLB tickets. It's like knowing you have a reliable bullpen when your starters have already done the job. You can just put your feet up and know that the team's going to win. So today, you can take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Hey, Kev. I got something to show you.
Yes.
So I know we've talked about this team doing the whole dance of 2 steps forward, 3 steps back, and it's very reminiscent to 2024. Brooksgate put up this post basically saying, where were teams in 2024? Where are teams in 2025? And what is the delta? Are they doing better? Are they doing worse? Are they doing the same?
Right.
Only one team, Kev, turned out to be doing exactly the same thing as 2024 out of 30 teams. And boy, don't we know it.
Look at that.
It's the Rays at 15-18. They are 15-18, obviously right before this Sunday game in the Philly series. But yeah,
even Steven, hey, how about that? We're not getting too high or getting too low. We're just staying static from last year to this year.
I will say something I think positive in the AL East. The Yankees are doing worse than last year. The Red Sox are doing worse than last year. The Orioles, boy, oh boy, are they doing worse. -8 for their delta.
They should have made some more additions in the offseason. I think
sure.
Starting pitching was one of their bugaboos. Well, they just needed to be willing to spend money and add some veteran pieces, and they didn't do that.
And I guess not. And also, when you lose Corbin Burns and then you're adding is 42-year-old Charlie Morton, well, maybe you're going to see some regression there. I will say that the Blue Jays are the only team in the AL East doing better than last year. But the good thing is they're only at a +1. So if you want to take the good with the bad, folks, it's not far-fetched to think that this 2025 season is going to look a lot like the 2024 season. Hopefully not. 130 games left. Let's do it. Let's roll. Raise up.
Right.
However, good thing is, hey, the competition ain't doing too hot either, especially compared to last year. So, hey, maybe something breaks the Rays' way.
I mean, I think the AL East is very much, I don't want to say within reach of winning the whole thing, but, nobody's really, taken the stake and put it into the ground. It's everybody's pretty much beatable, one series to the next. I mean, you definitely want to take advantage of those Orioles series, but as we've seen facing the Yankees, the Yankees have Aaron Judge and a lot of other pieces as well, but it's not like we should be totally intimidated by them. Look what we did this last weekend against the Bronx. So in the Bronx. So
going through injuries too. I mean, they were playing with Vivas and Escarra, like
they had their B squad out there. That's for sure. Guys that I frankly had never heard of until I looked at the box score, saw the highlights of them. So, and I mean, if we're, I mean, I guess as another positive, I would say that this team has more potential and is more exciting just based on the likes of Jonathan Aranda and Chandler Simpson and Cam Reisner and Shane Boz, being a piece, like, and then we have reinforcements coming up as well. So, I mean, I think there are building blocks that we can be really excited about in 2026 and 2027 and beyond. In the meantime, though, the Rays will have what I think could be a challenging series, what will be a challenging series, I should say, against the Phillies, even though it is at home at Steinbrenner Field. Although Philadelphia fans, I should say, whether it's Flyers, Eagles, Phillies, 76ers, they travel very, very, very well. I will actually be at the game on Wednesday, not utilizing the free tickets that the Rays gifted to us. That'll be for another date. But I would not be surprised if it's like 65-35 red to blue. Like, I think there's going to be a lot of Phillies fans.
Let's say like you did. Philadelphia fans travel so well. Kevin, they're in your house. That's how well they travel. I'm happy to hear you're going on Wednesday. They're
like a virus, like that show, like Walking Dead or Last of Us. They get that thing, and then they start.
It's all over the place.
They're spreading all over the Tampa Bay area.
Now, you think when you said 60, maybe I understood wrong. 65-35. You're saying 65 red?
Yeah. Maybe I'll bump it down to 60, but I think it's going to be a little bit of a shock. They'll definitely be the louder contingent.
Yes.
Of the bunch.
If I can just, and this is not talking crap. This is just like being real. I think Rays fans, in their majority, in the bell curve, we're very respectful. Yes. We are. We know when to cheer. The only issue is, I think we're too polite.
Yeah, we don't
as a fan base
talk back enough. Yes,
we don't talk back enough, and we sometimes lack the pulmonary power.
I know. Well, it's because we have beaches and palm trees and sunshine and outdoor activities.
Yeah.
Whereas, coming from the Northeast or Philadelphia, sports is all you got. Really, that's your one thing you can lay.
You're probably angry.
That and rock.
Angry at the cold. You're angry at the rain all the time, and you're angry at the snow. You're angry at putting chains on your tires. You're
angry. Yeah, you're angry at being a welder. All that. Yeah. All that and more. So, but yes, they are very, very passionate fans, for better or worse. Some good pitching matchups, though, that we can expect. Zach Wheeler going up against Drew Rasmussen on Tuesday. Chris Sanchez, who is doing very well in a Phillies uniform. I thought the Rays would have bested them in that trade that they got Curtis Mead out of, but it looks like Sanchez has the upper hand right now. He'll be going up against Shane Boz. And then Jesus Luzardo, who seems to be making his case for a Cy Young, will be going up against Ryan Pepio on Thursday. Just some numbers here on the Phillies. Offensively, they're 10th in baseball in team OPS, but 17th in homers. They draw a lot of walks, don't strike out very much, have a high batting average as a team, get on base a lot. And then pitching-wise, they are 15th in team ERA, so middle of the pack, but first in strikeouts. We can thank Zach Wheeler and others for that. And then they are struggling mightily defensively, 28th in defensive runs saved. Now, what has me probably most concerned is lefty Kyle Schwarber in his 11 dingers and 955 OPS. He is a guy where I don't think the Steinbrenner Field wind will matter one bit. Same thing for Bryce Harper, quite frankly. Yeah. So those are two guys you should be highlighting and circling. And And if there's a guy on base, try to avoid at all costs, because they can turn on one. And these are the types of guys that when they get hot, they can continue to get hot. Like, these are guys that we've seen before have two homer games, 3 homer games, and the like. There is a lot of star power on this Phillies team.
Definitely. And they're at a point right now where they got to go. I know they're doing well at 19 and 15, but that's going to be a tough division there with the Mets, how they're doing so well.
Yeah.
I think this is the maybe the first of 5 series whilst the Rays are still home heavy, where we got to say, you got to put up.
Yeah.
You got to put up. I necessarily don't think that we're going to see a high scoring affairs in these 3 games. I think the Rays have enough pitching to curb those guys.
Right.
You'd hope. We hope. But I am nervous, Kevin. I am nervous because when you look at that top of that lineup of the Phillies, with Castellanos, Schwarber, Harper, it's going to be tough.
And they've put up, there could be, before this series is over, there could be a crooked number on the Phillies' point of view. Like, I think they just lost a game to Arizona where they scored 10 runs. I think it was like 11 to 10 or something like that. But if you look, and I know that, competition is a part of this as well, but there have been, we have the Rays who put up that 16th spot. I don't think the Phillies have had a game like this, that, but they've had many a game where they're putting up 7 runs, 8 runs, 10 runs, 11 runs. So they can get hot in a hurry, and that's something that you have to beware of and monitor going forward there. So we'll see what happens. I'm based on what the Rays have shown thus far at home. If they can take one, I would honestly probably take that at this point. Just give me one W. Let's make it happen.
We need 2. We need 2 people. We need to. I think one would be like, well, at least we didn't get swept. But right now, honestly, the Rays, you need to start making up ground with your home field advantage.
Yeah.
Even if it is, with 60% of red screaming bad things at you, if you're a Rays player.
Yeah, I'll do some
surveying,
quantitative and qualitative analysis, a very in-depth, a very I can't think of the term, but a statistically valid survey that I will do on Wednesday. I will count every individual in the stands and walking across the concourse and try to monitor how many what is the ratio of Philly fan per Rays fan. And I think it might not be what we like at the end of the day, but I'll be there wearing Rays gear. I will not be wearing Phillies gear. I told the wifey that, nope, whenever Philly's playing the Rays, I gotta show up.
Imagine if a Locked On Race listener saw you with a Phillies hat. That's not great.
That would be a death knell for sure.
Yeah.
In the meantime, we hope you all have a wonderful day, and we thank you for making Locked On Rays your first listen today. For your second listen, check out the all-new Locked On MLB Game Night. Every game, every night, all season long. Get local analysis on a national scale. Find MLB Game Night on Locked On MLB on YouTube or wherever you listen to those podcasts.